The future is now because this summit actually started, and Mauricio remembers last year, with the launch of our animation program with CareerSource and Magic. So I'm so happy that you guys are both here today to talk about this exciting world of animation, which is the subject of today's symposium. Before we start, we did do a couple of videos, which I'd like to show. We have the animation montage reel, which I'd like to show you guys, which kind of just explains a little bit about the education and training program that helped to kind of launch this initiative in Miami-Dade County. Alrighty, so that was the idea, and I want to give a very special shout out to, and he's waving over there. That's Paul Vivona with PTV Productions, who edited that amazing reel. So shout out to Paul, Paulie V. He's our resident New Yorker. So yeah, that was sort of the genesis of all this idea that we came up with, obviously, in Patty and her amazing relationship with CareerSource and the city of Miami, and obviously Camacol and Joe Chi, to say, how can we put this industry to work and help incentivize it So it's been a really amazing program so far. But we're excited to hear from all of our friends and new friends and partners on what's going on in the animation scene in their neck of the woods, and see how we can also better collaborate, which I think is the spirit of this panel as well. So with that, I'm just going to go down the row, and I know each of you have clips, and I have another special clip for the end here as well. So we'll do it talk show style, so you can talk about yourself and then set up your clip. How's that? I remember, guys, I want to be Graham Norton. That's like that is my goal in life, is to have wine and bourbon and talk to famous people and have them set up their clips. So speaking of great famous people and good friends, Adrian Wootton is the CEO and Chief Executive of Film London and the British Film Commission, and that is his colleague and partner in crime, Helena Mackenzie, who's the head of inward investment at Film London. So take it away, Adrian and Helena, and just obviously for those that weren't here yesterday, a little bit about yourselves and set up your animation clip and initiative in London.
Well, I'll let Helena talk about the Film London animation strategy and the work we do around animation. But for those of you who don't know, I run Film London and the British Film Commission. The British Film Commission is very much about large-scale production, film and television coming into the UK and all over the UK. But Film London has a far bigger remit, which basically encompasses everything to do with film, television, animation, and games in the capital. So there isn't anything that's to do with film. Well, the screen industries really that is that we aren't involved in, and an increasingly bigger part of that is animation and games, and we're the only public institution actually in the UK that has a kind of specific consultant who should have been here but got COVID, so he can't be here on animation, and we have an increasingly larger and larger games department as well, which obviously does link very much to both visual effects and animation. So there's a lot of crossover. It's actually interesting about the previous panel and those connectivities and the changes in technology, which I hope we'll talk about, because there's we're talking an awful lot about convergence and what's going on in those industries.
Hi, so I head up the inward investment team at Film London and the business development side of things. So inward investment is basically, whatever you're making, I want you to come make it in London. So in putting that to the animation side of things, as Adrian said, we have an animation consultant, Julian, and we do, talk to industry and to creators of animation about doing animation in London, and we go to various markets and festivals and everything around the world to promote the studios and everything that we have in London. So I'm very happy to talk to anyone here in the room who wants to make something in London in terms of the animation. So Julian did that. We do webinars. We promote and explain in detail the tax credits surrounding animation, just to sort of paint the picture in greater detail of what you can do in London and the UK. What has come about in the last few years, and particularly resonated with our friends at MMFM, was during the sort of downtime of COVID, when everyone was sort of figuring out what the hell was going on. One of the things that we did do was to introduce a lot more work that from our side of things, to introduce people working with any kind of disabilities to be working in the animation industry. That came about from physical disabilities of people not being able to get into the office or into the studios. Suddenly went out the window with COVID because everyone started doing everything on Zoom. And that would never ever be considered beforehand because of security reasons. And very quickly, all those security reasons were worked out. And so that made suddenly the animation industry a very accessible industry. So we sort of decided that was a really good way forward for us to work within the disability area as well. And we have worked specifically with neurodiversity as well, and the wealth of talent that comes from anyone who is neurodiverse working in the industry as well. So So that started our disability animation strategy. And so with that, we've done various things with animation studios and employers and recruiters to get them to understand a little bit more about employing somebody who might be neurodiverse or employing somebody they may have, and be more sort of accessible. Just thinking about how to market your company and the language used and that kind of stuff in order to retain, to get in the first place and retain anyone that has a disability to work in animation. So that's been quite a big spike for us to move forward with our animation and disability work. We do a lot of work with all the national training bodies in the UK to get people, new entrants, to come into the animation industry. We have our skills department within Film London does a lot of work with this, and we have something called the Equal Access Network, and we hold regular labs with the young people of London who are looking to get into the industry. So we are very much aware that not only with animation but with other production as well, there's a lot of work to be done, but we need to crew up and we need to skill up. So we do a lot of work with our training bodies, and it's ongoing. So.
Well said. Usually we do show and tell, but today we're going to do tell and show. So I'm going to run your Film London clip now, and then
here's something we prepared earlier.
Yes.
This is London.
Oh, Mr. Gruber, it's wonderful.
Where do your amazing ideas come from?
Let's get painting! Let's talk business.
My voice-activated device.
And the only thing, Jay, I just wanted to add was that that I didn't say is that the situation with regard to our fiscal incentives has also changed for animation, because actually just coming into force now, we just increased the value of our animation tax credit quite significantly, and we've introduced the new independent film tax credit for films £15 million and below, and all of that is eligible for animated feature films.
Great. So now moving right along to a new MMFM friend, Amanda Renfroe, who is the head of animation for Steamroller, which is an amazing studio up in the Mount Dora area of Orlando. If you guys have never been there, it's beautiful. It's kind of like Key West without the ocean, but it's so cool. So Amanda, tell us, and you're cool as well, But this is your first time. It's like your induction, and it'll be really fun. But we like to tell a little bit of the origin story first. So just a little about yourself and how you got into the industry, and obviously with Steamroller now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to be here. I am definitely a new member and learning a lot about the people around me. So just to offer a little bit about myself, I am Amanda Renfroe. I am one of the head of animations at Steamroller Animation. I went to school in Savannah, Georgia, and I got my degree in CG animation. One scatty. And I've been at Steamroller for about 10 years now, and it's just been an incredible company where I've been a part of projects like Anthem, Mortal Kombat, Spice Frontier, if anybody saw the short on Sunday. Yeah. And so now part of my role is managing a department with our new potential partnerships. We do work a lot on the service side across all different types of projects with video games, cinematics, vis effects, our own IP, heavy, high-quality character performance. So our department is 100 plus animators. I think right now we might be at like 145 across 14 different types of shows. And so I mentioned that we do service side, but we're also starting to enter into building our own IPs. And so, our CCO and CEO are very passionate about telling our own stories, and so we've started to enter in the realm of building a full pipeline, heavily leaning into the Unreal Engine. So that's a little bit of where we're at today.
Awesome. Anything you want to say about your clip before I play it, or?
Nah, just play it.
Let it speak for itself. I like that.
At Steamroller, we are super excited about the craft of animation. We love working with our incredible partners around the world, helping to support them with animation services as they bring their amazing projects to life. We also love creating our own original content. Our team is working hard on a number of new stories as we continue to build our animation pipeline, leveraging the power of the Unreal Engine. We want to thank our crew of artists, technicians, and support staff, and we hope you appreciate the amazing work they do.
I'm in.
Kent, did you just open your helmet?
No, that would probably hurt. Just something stuck in my throat. In my helmet. Hey, this is fun. Look at me out here doing this, huh? Come on.
The sensors show no motion or any heat signatures, but I think you should head back to the ship. I'll take over from here.
No. I've got this. You just said there's nothing on the sensors, so let's not get carried away. I've got my blaster. Ugh.
Awesome. You're right. You didn't have to set that up. That was beautiful. Great reel.
Team's done great work.
Yes. Amazing team there. So now, speaking of teams, we have a great local team here for education, training, OJT, all sorts of supports. So we'll just go down the line. So I'll start with you, Mauricio, and then Mr. Beasley. So Mauricio, so tell us a little bit about yourself and your work with Magic at Miami-Dade College.
Hello, everybody. My name is Mauricio Ferraza. I was born in Brazil, but I've been living in Miami for 32 years, so I qualify as a Miamian. Yeah, Miami is home 100%. I'm an animator by training, but I haven't animated anything in a long time. And in 2015, my Dr. Eduardo Padron, the former president of Miami-Dade College, invited me to create 2 academic programs for the college. For those of you who don't know about Miami-Dade College, is the largest education institution in the country. An open door policy. Also an open door policy, so we don't say no, we accept everybody. And it's an amazing institution. I remember, if you live in Miami, you know of Miami-Dade College, but I didn't realize the impact that the institution really has in the community until I started working there. But I created these 2 programs, and animation and game development, and at the time I asked the former president what he wanted out of the programs, and he was like, jobs. So the program was created with this mission to train our students and teach them an ability or a skill that will make them employable here in our community. And the program is 100% embedded with industry, meaning year 1, it's an associates in science, it's a 2-year program. Year 1, students learn the core fundamentals of both animation and game development. Year 2, they're already working with studios like Nickelodeon, Walt Disney Television Animation, Disney Junior, local companies, Televisa Univision, Telemundo, and truly they're embedded for 1 year. Students work side by side with the studios to create either an animated short movie or a prototype of a video game. It's been highly successful, thank God. Yeah, now we're starting to actually see the results after 10 years. Next year, we're going to be our 10th anniversary.
Congratulations.
I know. Can't believe it. And one of the amazing initiatives that we embarked on was the Miami Animation Incentive Program. And that's Patty and JL, you guys. Seriously. That brought in, CareerSource South Florida. And Magic provides the on-the-job training component of it. So it's an amazing opportunity. Slowly, we're rolling the program out, and we're getting some employers already hiring. And hire Miami, hire our talent here in Miami. And I'm sure you'll be able to give us a little more details, but you get incentives, tax incentives if you hire animators, our local talent. And I think that's about it. Is that good?
That's great. Thank you.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Beasley. All righty. So before we get into the weeds on animation, if you can tell us a little bit about yourself, obviously your role with CareerSource, and really what does CareerSource South Florida provide to the community? Just a little overview of yourself and CareerSource South Florida.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. No. Let's try that again. God woke us up this morning and allowed us to be able to walk and talk and gave us a blessing. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. All right. I'm sorry, I'm a deacon in my church, so when I recognize God's creation, I want to also be recognized. So thank you. So to Jail and Patty, I want to thank you all for what you all continue to do to grow animation, really this industry in Miami-Dade County. And so in preparation for this, one of the things that really will push animation, particularly make Miami grow, really is having good training institutions, which we have Miami-Dade College. I do, for the sake of politics, I have to play Miami-Dade College, University of Miami, FIU, Florida Memorial. I got to cover my politics. I don't know who else is in the room. But also it's fostering, a good collaborative industry mix when you have not only what you all are doing, but also with Chemical, a chamber here, but also with Greater Miami Chamber and others who are really interested about moving and pushing film and animation in our community. That helps. Okay. Then let's talk about the financial incentive. This is where, again, I know our county with Mayor Daniel Levine Cava really pushed to have some resources for, although the state of Florida, I want to say that, although the state of Florida has removed those dollars, this county has put resources to the table. And so this is where CareerSource South Florida comes in. We are one of 24 workforce boards across the state of Florida. Our main goal is to invest in our community, to build talent, to address the needs of our business community. And so we're one of the largest workforce boards in the country, the largest actually in the South. And we invest over $33 million plus into our community to build talent, to help companies grow and to retain talent. And so we're just a little small board, but I think we do some pretty good work. Yes. Fortunate, and we're blessed to have Joe Chi. I will say this, that Joe Chi hired me 19 years ago, August 1st. So if I do something wrong, you blame Joe. And if we're doing some great things, you thank Joe. All right. But our board really is really looking at various industries. And again, I want to thank Patty because, she brought it to our attention on animation. And I can tell you, I was like, what? Animation? Like, what are you talking about? And okay. And so because she kept pushing and we got involved and got my staff involved. And so we see that this is, when you look at technology, with animation, AI, and others, this is an industry that can really grow and help build talent, but our students to have an opportunity to get into other areas. And when you have one of the largest colleges in the country, and so most of y'all, if you're not from Miami, you're thinking, well, Miami-Dade College, 182,000 students that this community, this college serves in our community. And so we're blessed to have a wonderful president, Mauricio, and what he's doing for the university, for the institution to grow. Again, we're just making a small investment. One of the things that we do is provide, when I say incentives, we help companies grow by offering on-the-job training, which means we'll provide up to 50 to 75% of reimbursement. Now, I'm going to push apprenticeship programs. Yes, you are. I really would love for companies, if you're in a room, to build your company, is create an apprenticeship program. And by doing so, this board will fund up to 40% of the salaries for a year. Wow. OJT, I think it's up to 6 months. And so our goal really is how we can help those companies grow. And then each time that you hire, you use the apprenticeship model to do so. And so it's an opportunity to give those individuals who want to go into this industry an opportunity to learn and earn at the same time. Because most students, look at college and say, man, I can't afford, but I really want to go into this area. So here's a chance to give them an opportunity to grow, to get their feet wet, to learn from some great creative minds, and then to build your company. And so that's what we do. Again, look, a little small workforce. We put a little money into this, but again, if it wasn't for Patty and you all bringing us to the table, we probably would have left out. And I was sharing with Amanda, there's 24 of us. My colleague in Orlando, I'm pretty sure she probably has not touched this area, but we do things a little differently, y'all. You know. I know. We're very creative in how we do this. And so, I want to thank you all for bringing this to the table. Excited to see some of the work that you all have been doing. Yes. And then to hear about some of the students that have been hired. Again, our goal is to change people's lives. And by changing lives, you change communities. And that's what's important for me and my board, what we do.
Amen. Love it. All righty. So we're going to set up this last clip, and then we'll dig into it a little bit.
MMFM is a global content forum and market, and we want to create an industry here for our Miami and our Miami-Dade creatives.
Working with a lot of local talent, producers, and then basically partnering them with the major Hollywood industry as well as international studios, film commissions, and countries that are interested in working with Miami.
Animation is really hot, and special effects and gaming. So JL came up with the idea, why don't we have an initiative that fosters animation and gaming.
The program is open to City of Miami animators and gamers who have at least some level of experience. It could be a 2-year degree from Magic. You could be self-taught. You could be someone that studied in a related field but has a passion and some baseline knowledge of animation and gaming that we will then assist to get additional training and get you prepped to work on a team, basically a cohort, with some of the top animation projects in the world.
So through this new program, we figured out a way with our fantastic partners at Miami-Dade College and CareerSource to help employ these animators in their field and work here.
You'll be hired locally, you'll be working locally.
For the past 8 years, we've been working with Film London, now we're working with Spain, and it's to create opportunities here for our Miami creatives.
And you'll be affecting the global industry in terms of animation and gaming, which has become a huge multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide.
This program, the Miami Animation Incentive, has the potential to be truly a game changer for this school and for every single individual residing in Miami that wish to work in animation. Primarily with Maya, ZBrush, 2D animation, Toon Boom, Harmony, Storyboard Pro, and also Adobe Animate, create assets like Photoshop, Illustrator. Gaming, they get versed in C++ language. And then the game engines that we work with is Unity and Unreal. If we get employers to recognize the talent that we have here in Miami, it has the chance to transform the whole job scenario here in our community.
CareerSource South Florida supports local talent through various methods. The first one is through our network of business representatives who are contracted to reach out and help employers find and recruit talent. The second one is also through our business, our connections with organizations like Chemical, our chambers of commerce. Partnering with them allows us to be able to understand the needs of the talent, how they need to develop, how they need to recruit, and how they need to retain. Third one, again, goes through customized job fairs that we may do on behalf of an employer to hire talent. And last but not least, we do it through financial incentives that either through on-the-job training, apprenticeship models, customized training, as an employed worker training. So those are the methods in which we help employers recruit, develop, and find talent.
We're going to be able to show major companies in LA and in the UK and in Spain. It's going to create jobs in the industry that these people studied to work in.
The component of the on-the-job training, I think, is absolutely amazing and actually give the opportunity to these individuals to learn more and to do well. This has the potential to invest in these individuals, in this talent that reside right here in Miami that otherwise would need to change or move to Los Angeles or to Vancouver or to Austin, where they have a robust gaming and animation industry.
There's a shortage of animation and gaming talent worldwide. And we feel that we have the talent locally that can fill that gap and help bring our local industry to the next level.
It is a game changer for our community.
So we can get all these people work, which is what it's about. But working in the industry that they prepared for, and working in the industry that they're committed to, and working in the industry that they're passionate about.
The Miami Animation Incentive and Training Program, this is Miami.
And we're animating the future.
Second shout out to Paul Vivona and PTV Productions. Thank you so much again. You're working hard, even as we speak. All right, guys. So I want to go in reverse order now because I think everyone's been set up fairly nicely now in terms of what you do. Amanda, I know you also spend a lot of time dealing with talent and recruitment. So talk a little bit about what Steamroller looks for in an ideal candidate, especially at the junior animation level. And don't hold back because we're open to improving in every aspect of what we do. So just give it to us.
Yeah, no, great question. I do deal a lot with looking at a lot of talent for the studio since we're always kind of getting new projects in that require different skill sets. And I will say, at Steamroller for us, it's a lot about having our artists or individuals that we're looking to bring on board really grow with the projects that we have. That really allows us to bring on folks all the way from the junior level to a senior level. But alongside that, not only are we assessing your craft, whatever that might be, in this instance, we're talking about animation, we're also looking at who you are as a character. And before I keep going a little too far along, am I speaking to any animators out in the crowd? Okay, I got a couple in there. Nice. Okay. Love it. Well, with animation, you really have to have a strong understanding of the foundations. There's no avoiding that. There's no fast track through the foundational stages. So we're talking about your 12 principles of animation, building great poses, talking about weight, anatomy, and body mechanics. They all have to be present. And if you're really young in your career, this is the time to spend there. Animation is hard. It's difficult. It takes a lot of failing in order to be able to figure out what is good animation. So spending a lot of time within this realm is huge. This is what's going to get your foot, this is essentially what's going to open up the door for you. The second part of this conversation is about you. Who are you? What character are you? What is your growth mindset like? How do you manage your failures? What aspects of your journey have you embraced or have learned from? It matters a lot about who we're working with. We're looking for folks that have this collaborative spirit, an individual that is very excited, has discipline, and is driven in growing in this field. It's a very hard field. It's a very long field. It's endurance. It's not a sprint throughout this. So both of those qualities matter an exceptional amount to those folks that we bring on board for Steamroller, because we get this opportunity to be able to work on many different types of shows. And if you're able to have a great understanding of the fundamentals, and you're able to collaborate and work with others, with your supervisor, with your leads, with your peers, then you're going to have a very successful and a very exciting career throughout animation that just opens up a bunch of possibilities. And you can kind of think of it in a way where, your animation skill is what's going to open up the door, but your character is going to make those doors very expansive for you. So there's a lot of possibilities there.
Well said. Thank you, Amanda. So now I'm going to throw it back over. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for that, for sure. So Helena and Adrian, how are you guys, first of all? Doing okay? Conference treating you well? Awesome. Ready for some cocktails later. I'm looking forward to that. So now to business. So obviously, and again, shout out to Julian, your colleague, who unfortunately couldn't be with us due to his illness, as you mentioned, and you guys are dutifully stepping in here. So obviously, without getting too much into the weeds, what would you say that, and obviously I know a big chunk of your goal is to promote and really help the animation studios in London, right? But also, you guys are so good at international partnerships and creating those collaborations worldwide. What would you say you'd be looking for in an ideal local partner from an animation studio in Miami, and the types of services, skill sets, and the language? I always like to say cinema is a language, and I just want to make sure we're speaking the same language when we're collaborating internationally. What would you say that the animation studios would be looking for? And these could be technical skills, it could be obviously local incentives, some of the soft skill sets, as Amanda mentioned, the spirit of collaboration. What are you guys looking for in terms of creating these international partnerships?
I think that what the thing that you set up last year, the incentive that you had that we've been putting to our animation studios in the UK, yeah. So we've been working with them on getting them in. To be honest, to getting them involved with Miami, because they didn't really know before. So a lot of the stuff that we do is about awareness and making sure that people are aware of all the opportunities that anyone can actually offer. But particularly because we work with you guys, it's just like making them aware of the wealth of talent that you have here and putting them together. What we do is we facilitate putting people together, and collaboration starts from there. So we've done Julian has done a good job so far in just, talking to our animation studios in London and saying, there's great stuff happening in France, there's great stuff happening in Ireland, but actually, what about Miami? And as a go-to. And I think that, 18 months ago or so, that wouldn't have happened, and now it is. So it's kind of baby steps in a way, but I mean, it's going forward in the right direction, whereas it didn't exist beforehand.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well said, Helena, yes.
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. And I'd say to go back to your question, JL, I think that, we've been talking to people, as you know, for our production finance market and upstream over the last few days. And what we're looking for are companies that, that maybe want to bring, they want international partners to develop the IP. They're looking for different kinds of financing. They're looking for different kinds of creative collaboration, international creative collaboration, for projects that actually have an international interest, that will work for global audiences, not just audiences in the US and the UK, but across the world. And also to see whether, what the incentive, workforce incentive you've got here, but also, as I mentioned earlier, we've got public fiscal incentives which have just been ramped up dramatically, which now provide an additional source of funding that international companies can take advantage of, working in collaboration with British Animation. So we think there's some big opportunities. I mean, that's obviously true, as Helena said, for Miami, but we are looking at those international collaborations and how we, and that could be for original IP. It could be, it's all the things that Steamroller do. It could be for IP. It could be for working with visual effects companies that are also in animation. It could be working with games, because there's a huge games industry in London and the UK as a whole. And all that relationship with animation is very, very strong. So we think there's a lot of opportunities, I think.
And there's, as well as the production finance market, which we're here to talk about, because we have Games London, which is a subsidiary of us and the London Games Festival, there is actually a games finance market in London as well, so which is in March, April time every year. So it's worth looking into that as well, because again, looking for new IP coming in specifically for games. And
on that, it's a very good point, and on that, we invented a new event inside the London Games Festival this year, which is called Screenplay, and it's all about the convergence between film, television, animation, games. It's an event which brings those creators together, and because there used to be, frankly, extraordinary amounts of hostility between film, television, and and particularly the game sector, and a lot of inverted and quite stupid snobbery. But now, because filmmakers' lexicon is about that different technology, it is about games, that has broken down, and we're now getting incredible creative collaboration. So I think there's huge opportunity.
Yeah, no, well said. And before I pass it along, if you just mention a little bit in terms of the ROI that you've seen since you started to incentivize animation and games more and more, what kind of return locally into your economy are you seeing?
Well, you saw there, that's an out-of-date figure, but we're talking £500 million a year.
Wow.
That's
more than dollars.
Animation. That's not chump change.
No.
That's a serious amount of money. And with the increased incentive that we've just introduced and the independent film tax credit, I can't give the confidential details, but there's some eye-watering sums of new investment that's going to divorce that by some margin over the next 2 or 3 years because of those additional incentives attracting people to want to work with us and want to work with our companies.
Yeah, no, that's excellent. Before I go to the questions and the Q&A, Mr. Beasley, I just wanted to touch on you for 1 second in terms of, now we heard about obviously your amazing program to incentivize local training and jobs, education, what these local and international studios are looking for. What could we do as a community to better communicate? Because a lot of it is awareness, right? And to create the spirit of collaboration, we need to know who we're collaborating with. And what can we do as a community there?
I'm kind of glad you asked that. I'd leaned over to ask Mauricio, are they working with Miami-Dade County Public Schools? I said, well, yes, with Dr. Diaz, who is also a close partner with us. because what I would love to do and see is how, you're having, this issue of talent. How do we get it into the high schools? How do actually we get into elementary to see what the opportunities are? Again, for those of us who have children, our goal was always to put our child into college. That was always a push. And yet not every child wants to go to college, and every child can afford to go to college. So what are the opportunities? And how do we encourage them to look at this industry as a way of making a living? Again, promoting creativity. I can tell you I have a 16-year-old daughter that if I had her here, this is in her area. She loves this, and so how do we encourage in our community of potential opportunities that will grow? And this is where, by working with our county officials, with the public school system. Is anyone from Miami-Dade County Public Schools here?
You mean attended?
Yes. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Represent. Thank
They
you
were
all
here in the
for
morning.
attending.
OPCTE was here in the morning.
Okay, Matilla. Okay, so Renee Matilla. Okay, so you got the best folks, but again, it is also promoting to the parents this industry, because quite frankly, I would have known about it until Patty brought it to our attention, to you and Patty brought it to my attention. And it's an emerging industry that sometimes emerging industries get overlooked, and this is where we can make the investment. But again, having organizations like Chemical and other chambers of commerce a part of that conversation to promote. Also, our Miami-Dade County, and again, we have one of the wonderful Mayor Daniel Levine Cava, who really pushes. I know she's an investor. She's one of the sponsors, right? I hope I didn't say misspeak. She's one of the sponsors, Miami-Dade County.
Yes.
They promote this. So how do we get others to see? And so I think it's more of a collaboration between organizations like MMFA and CareerSource and Chemical, Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, the Beacon Council, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, Miami-Dade College, and others to really promote to the families about this industry that's growing. And so I think it takes a lot of us to work. I'm impressed to see folks here. For any animation companies that you're trying to hire, please get with Patty. We'll see how we can put some money on the table to encourage you all to recruit talent here, retain talent here, and do business in Miami-Dade County.
Well said.
Little plug out there, little plug.
Mauricio, anything you want to add before we turn it over to the Q&A? Yeah.
I have a bunch of new employers that. Well, I mean, every single animation student wants to work at Pixar, right? But unfortunately, not everybody's going to make it to Steamroller Studios or Pixar. So I have to think about all my animation studios. And we've been doing a work for the past 10 years here in our community, exploring animation in other verticals, not only in animation or the creative industries. And these are very, very good paying jobs. Like, so I'll give you two examples. Carnival Cruise Lines. They are hiring all our programmers and animators because they're gamifying their cruise ships.
Right.
And every year they're hiring our students. Another example is construction. Finally, have you guys heard of construction and VR? And it never happened. Finally happening because companies like Suffolk Construction, they're bidding in VR. They're bidding to the city in VR. And I visited Suffolk Constructions. They have an animation, a lab. My goodness. Anyway, they have a center where they're exploring all these possibilities, and they were doing everything in VR and paying this fortune to this company in San Francisco to create these VR simulations. And they're hiring our students now. Yep.
It's beyond just animation.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
There's how do we promote it in the high schools? Yeah. How do we get them to see it's beyond just an animation company? It's construction. It's an architectural. Here's a way that we can truly grow. Now, there's going to be competition for that talent, but here's how we can grow that talent.
No, that's a great point.
It's all about explaining I've knocked in every single door in this county, explaining to companies what these technologies can do, either to, improve, cut costs, obviously, or improve revenue, and then you have a winner. And we're starting to get, these verticals where animators can be employed, and that's the goal. Remember, our mission is jobs.
Yeah.
So if any of you would like to know more about the program, I'm at Magic every day.
Yeah.
You can find me there. or we'd be happy to work with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, JL and Patty.
Thank you, Mauricio. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up that point about related fields as well that are not the traditional Pixars and Steamrollers that are doing all this great work, but there's also fields like, companies like Carnival. I think Shakespeare said the world is a stage, but now I think the world is a screen, essentially. That's where we're heading.